Good morning, Utah, and welcome to the 2025 PCBL Summit. I am so pleased to see everyone here today and being inside despite the fact that we have some beautiful weather going on out there in the community. My name's Nathan Auck. I am the PCBL Specialist and the STEM Coordinator for the Utah State Board of Education, and I am honored to have the opportunity to kick off our time together today. If you have not already done so, I would be most appreciative if you could check out that QR code with a compatible device, or if you have a laptop, throw in the bit.ly. Remember, bit.ly is case sensitive. There's going to be some resources that I'm going to throw out there, and we don't have a ton of time to dig into, but everything in the slide deck is clickable. So when you get to those resources, if you want to learn more about it, you can click on the picture in the slide and it'll take you to those resources. Okay, so QR code still takes you to the slides if you didn't get it yet, but I'm going to start talking about the agenda. We're really excited this morning to have Joe Feldman with us. He'll be kicking off our keynote in 15 or 20 minutes, and then we have a breakout session in the morning before we get to lunch. After lunch, we have 2 breakout sessions, and then we get to finish the day with another excellent keynote by Dr. Corey Steiner. But before I leave this agenda slide, I want to point out one piece of it that is the only piece of all of our summit resources that are maybe not self-explanatory, and that's the table talks. What you're going to find when you get into that resource page is that there is a tab that says Table Talks. If you're on your phone, the tab will be at the bottom. If you're on your computer, you'll see the tabs on the left-hand side. Those table talks will give you the opportunity to engage in an informal conversation on a number of different topics. Oh, hey, right, swallow the microphone. Perfect feedback. Thank you, Sam. Those table talks are going to be happening at lunchtime. There are, I think there's 9 different topics. We'll kind of we'll have the chance to eat lunch together, and then the second half of lunch, if you want to, you can engage in some table talks on some focused content. Our keynote speakers will be there to be able to answer questions and engage informally about their work. We'll also have a number of other sessions focused on PCBL content. One that I want to point out that is also not self-explanatory is the Innovative Learning Network Table Talk, facilitated by myself. If you are a district or charter administrator and you are interested in participating in the Innovative Learning Network next year, please come and see me. What this network does is identifies 3 foci in the spring of this year that I then build some professional learning associated with and take folks on site visits connected to during the entirety of the next school year. So USB will cover the costs of all of the professional learning and scouting the sites. However, it is up to you and anyone who attends to pay for all travel costs for the actual site visits. So if this is something of interest to you, please feel free to come talk to me at some point today or join me at that table talk at lunchtime. So, many of you have been a deep part of the PCBL community for a number of years, and others of you may not know what PCBL is. So of course PCBL stands for Precision Crafted Biology Lessons. Nope, that's not right. Perfectly coordinated brain learning. We're all here for brain learning, right? Of course we're not. We're here for personalized competency-based learning. That's what brings us together this morning. And this initiative is focused at the scale of basically all of education. And so there's so many kind of ways into this conversation. So rather than talk at you about it, I'm hoping that this video loads so that I can let the video do the talking for me.
Does this look familiar to you? It's not my experience. In my Utah school, we're focused on personalized, competency-based learning, PCBL. For me as a student, this is what PCBL looks like. Before, I didn't always understand what was expected of me. Now, I'm given examples of what success looks like so I can achieve it. When it comes to learning, my teachers have high expectations for me and believe I can meet them. I feel good in class because I have positive relationships with my classmates and know my teachers care about me and my interests. And my parents and my teachers share ideas about how to maximize my learning. Before, I had to wait for my grades to know how I was doing in class. Now, I always know where I'm at in my learning and what I need to do to achieve my goals. I set learning goals and track my progress and growth. And I partner with my teachers to make choices about my learning. Before, I was so worried about my one shot to get a good grade. Now I have multiple chances and different ways to show what I know.
I was a teacher, so I have some wait time here. And maybe you're going to get my version of the finish of this. Let's try. Okay, so you all have the slides. You can watch the remainder of the video. There's further conversation about the last two components on our PCBL framework, which is customized supports. The basis of customized supports is ensuring that every student has what they need to reach the learning objectives for that classroom. And then finally, there's social emotional learning, setting students up for navigating the challenging conditions that they experience as young people and then humans on the planet Earth. And so systems take those five components, put them together, and the output is effective educational experiences for students. I hope that doesn't start randomly. Okay. So that's a kind of description. Go to presenter mode here. Also not going to let me present. Okay. So that's a description of what personalized competency-based learning is. But I also want by which students can build the skills and dispositions within the portrait of a graduate. And so these three things together, working in concert, are what allow communities to thrive, students to achieve the outcomes that we as a community have identified for them, and for learning to kind of move forward. So now you have a vision, for those that haven't seen it before, what PCBL is and how it fits into the overall kind of educational zeitgeist in Utah. So we have, as I mentioned, a PCBL framework. You can access it by clicking on that link or by using the QR code at the top. That will take you to a kind of roadmap for implementing the 5 components of PCBL. If you haven't seen it before, it's worth checking out. So how did we get to today? At the beginning of each of our fiscal years, which starts in July, and even before that, I send out a bunch of surveys to folks. And those surveys are absolutely crucial to what we do throughout the entirety of that next school year. The surveys that you will get at the end of this conference, as well as those of you that are PCBL grantees, you will get another more in-depth survey during our PCBL collaborative time. Those surveys are the vehicle by which we make decisions about what's going to happen next year. The focus of this conference, unlocking student potential, creating systems of evidence-driven learning, that's all based on survey feedback. Folks said, we need to learn more about proficiency scales. We want to know how competency-based education works. We need more insight on incorporating student learning rather than seat time into our classrooms, our schools, and our school districts. So where we're at today is a reflection of the things that you tell us you need. And so all of those surveys and participation in our PCBL collaboratives are integral in order for us to be able to meet your needs. So thank you so much for the last year's worth of expressing those needs to us. So for those that have been here for all 3 years that it's happened, or for those of you that are new this year, who is it that come to this PCBL Summit? Let's see if I can, no? Still not? Okay. So what you can see here is a progression of who we have in attendance by grade level. At the right, you'll see officer administrative positions. That is our biggest community that's here this morning. High school takes the next spot, elementary, middle school, and then we have some preschool educators. Raise your hand and let's have a round of applause for the preschool educators in this space. Woo! Thank you so much for coming. Okay, next up. We have subject areas taught by participants. This year, elementary takes the win with far more than all the others. So we also have a number of other areas represented beyond those that show up here. CTE educators, raise your hand if you're a CTE educator. Thank you so much for being here. It is fantastic to have you. And then mathematics next. We have ELA, science, social studies, and health and PE, even foreign language and arts represented. So thanks to all for being here. Now we have the award for which charter school sent the most participants. It's kind of tiny because my computer's not letting me turn on presenter screen, but Freedom Preparatory Academy, where are y'all at? Thank you for coming. You have more folks represented here than any other charter, followed closely by Early Light and Utah Virtual Academy. Thank you all for coming. We have an upset this year. Last year, Ogden, who continues to remain in the top 5, had the most participants. This year, Park City took the win, and it wasn't even close. Park City with over 50 participants coming, followed by Alpine, Box Elder, Ogden, and then we have a number of other communities represented. So thanks to all of you for coming as well. So, who are the difference makers in this PCBL spot? There's a few folks that I want to give a call out to because none of this would be possible without them. So first of all, thank you all for being here today. There's over 500 of you that have registered for this conference. That represents a continually upward moving trend. And so thanks to you for being at this place, doing the learning for your students, and kind of engaging in this work. PCBL grantees. I know a number of you already have a PCBL grant, and I saw at least 4 different communities here this morning that are applying for a PCBL grant this year. So thank you to the community that's participating in the PCBL grant. The USB PCBL Summit Squadron, I made up that name myself. These are folks that met 6 or 7 times over the past 3 months to make sure everything that's happening today could move kind of quickly and fluently. So this is Matt, this is Rick, this is Andrea, this is Kelly, this is Alicia, and this is Nate. Thank you all for what you do to make the summit possible. Round of applause for the Summit Squadron. And then we have the student-centered leadership team. These are the folks that make decisions based on what survey results say. So this is Emily, this is Rick, this is Kathy Gray, this is Nate, this was Katie for part of the term last year, this is Lindsay. So thanks to all of you for making the big picture decisions that led to this. Round of applause for the leadership team. And then the PCBL advisory members. If you are a PCBL advisory member, could you have a stand? These are the folks that give us feedback on all the decisions we make. These are the checks that allow us to continually represent the needs of you as stakeholders. So a round of applause for the PCBL advisory members. And then finally, Alicia, if you're out there and you hear me yelling at you, can you come to the doorway and wave, please? Alicia Mormon, like if she wasn't here, we would be in my backyard with like an orange cone that I would be talking through. Alicia has done more logistics work and legwork to make this happen than anyone else. I'm hoping that we have Alicia somewhere. No? Rick, can you give Alicia a yell? Okay, if you see Alicia outside, please thank her. Big round of applause for Alicia, even if she's not in the doorway. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, so the last thing I want to share before we get to our keynote this morning is what we have been up to. Now you know what PCBL is, you know how we got here today, and I want you you to know, other than what you're going to hear, all the awesome stuff at the conference, I want you to know what we've been up to. So at the left is the components of our PCBL framework, and on the right are all of these clickable resources that I told you about. We have content frameworks for ELA, math, and science that are aligned with the components of the PCBL framework. This allows you to express PCBL in the promising practices of those subject areas, not to bulldoze the promising practices away, but to define them within PCBL. We have the disciplinary literacy framework. There we go, on the right, and that helps give some recommendations about what disciplinary literacy can look like in the progression of PK all the way up in to the high school years. We have the portrait of meaningful inclusion, a vision of how to kind of leverage PCBL opportunities in the SPED community. We have this formative assessment process toolkit. In the space of competency-based education, this is toolkit for what good formative assessment looks like. And then we have the protective factors framework at the bottom that helps you incorporate social emotional learning and other protective factors into your community. One other resource that I want to give a shout out to is our integration crosswalks. They are now live, and each of these documents, we have one grades 3 through grade 6 that take all the standards in 6 different subject areas and identify where there's overlap. So if you're interested in finding integration within the content areas, those integration crosswalks will be a great resource. And finally, our PCBL endorsement as of last week is officially live for everyone to engage in. There's 21 micro-credentials that you can engage through. There are 5 courses on Canvas and Canvas Commons, both of which are linkable in this slide, that will help you identify what you need to do in order to demonstrate those micro-credentials. This PCBL endorsement has had huge both backing from the community and was written by stakeholders. And so I'm so thankful to that writing team of 4, Hillary, Blaine, Jeff, and Corey. Thank you so much for your help in writing this, and it's exciting to finally, after a year of getting feedback on them, it's exciting to have everything go live now.